welcome back everybody to week 2 of building Ghorman in Lego. Thanks for all the support on the first week. It was one of my best videos I've made on the channel. Performed very well, so thank you very much for all that. On this week, I'm going to have a shorter intro and I want to get right into the action. So I'll be making the Ghorman army, or majority of it, and I'll be starting off the floor design for the mod. So let's get straight to it. Okay, so for the first part of the segment, I'm going to be talking about how I made all of these Ghorman minifigures. There's, I think, 50 on the dot, and the way I made these is something called fig barfing. If you've never heard that term in Lego, it basically means making new minifigures out of already existing minifigures. So you don't make custom pieces, but you make custom minifigures. So let me pick out one for example. We'll pick out this guy right here. So he uses the General Dodana legs and torso, the Sirius black head, and then the Cedric Diggory hair, or any other minifigure that uses that hair. You see how it just kind of creates a custom minifigure that looks like fits into a Star Wars planet? And that's what I've kind of done for all 50 other minifigures. Now there is a few named ones, which I'll go through a few more details. So these are the main named figures for the Ghormans. We'll start off with, well, that's the guy who's been in all of the kind of short videos, so I thought I'd bring him out. This guy here is the person who waves the flag on the statue or monument. The clone face is just a placeholder for the moment, as I'm looking for another kind of olive coloured head that matches the character. To the right of him we have Wilman Pack, I believe is his name. I've just gone for the majority of it is the fin, torso and hair, and then the Han Solo or the Indiana Jones legs. Now I think he looks quite accurate to the minifigure, to the character in the show. Then we've got Cyril Khan. I wasn't too happy with this one. I wanted to get him in like a cloaked look, but he also wears a tie. The face I think is pretty good, but if you have any suggestions for that, I'd like to hear. To the right of him is the kind of leader of the resistance. I think it's Carlo Ryland, or Ryland. I'm not sure how to say his name, but I'm really happy with him. I saw straight away that he kind of looked Daniel Craig, so I went for the James Bond face. And that hair is from Lord Garmadon in the minifigure form. And to the right of him, this is the guy who starts the singing. I really like I got the perfect hat for him. Torso and legs, I don't know, he was more in kind of a tan coloured outfit, but I also thought it was a bit red, so I went for the tan scarf and the red outfit. But the hat and the face I think look really good. And then of course Andor in his kind of hooded outfit. I think this is as close as it gets to what he looks like on the Ghorman Massacre kind of era or episodes. But besides that, majority of these other figs are just random. Oh, there's also this guy who's the concierge who always helps out Andor, and I quite like using the purple hat and the kind of Death Star Trooper face with the antenna or the microphone, whatever you want to call it. But the rest of them are kind of look like working class characters. There's a few with fancier suits. I think I want to make a few more that have got suits, a bit more like this purple businessman at the back. But overall, I'll just go through a few of these. Got a few little kids and other minifigures. I wanted to go with a lot of cloaks, and see there's the Luke's poncho, and there's another poncho right there. And these hats, which I think really looks good, the Rebel Trooper hats, a few Han Solo minifigures, and just overall there's about 50 of them, and they're all custom, so I'm really happy with how that looks. Okay, so a little update here for partway through the week. I have started designing the floor for the mark. And if you saw the short I made earlier this week, where I built the circle around the monument, it's pretty simple in how it's built. So it's just got a few of these wedge plates and this 45-degree tile and a 1x12 tile or two 1x6 tiles going along. A bit of a snot technique right there, and then a few of these wedge plates. And if you do that on all four sides, it makes a pretty good circle, I think, at least a snot circle. And the way this works, or at least for the entire design is going to work, you have to do a little bit of Lego math. So right here, you've got two plates and a tile on top. And according to Lego math, a stud, just a stud, not the plate in the stud, just a stud is half a brick. So if you put it's half a tile, sorry, it's half a tile, not half a brick. So that's why 3 plates tall is equal to a brick on top of a stud, because a brick by itself is 2.5 plates tall. So 2.5 plus 1.5 equals 3. So that's what I'm going to use for the entire floor design as you come over here. So I first started off with, I'm going to go around the entire circle with these 1x2, so a 1x2 plate and a 1x2 tile. And that's going to go all the way around here. You can see that just on this quarter of the circle. I've also got all the rest of the pieces over there. But then I've not only got to do the circle, I've also got to make these oval designs. And so I've got a little bit of a design on paper here, you can see there, where they overlap a little bit at the base here, which is what you can see right here. And I'll show you how I've done this. So I'm basically going to copy this design for each quarter, or corner kind of. So there's going to be 4 of these. And so there's this brick built design with slopes, and so they all come to the point. There's a bit of an intersection here, which is what I've been struggling on. And well, it hasn't gone too bad. I'm not too annoyed with the design. If there's any suggestions on how to make it better, that'd be helpful. But so basically I've just got these 2 wedges again and a blanked out Nexonite shield, and again they're just on 2 additional plates, and you stack these on top, and that means that it can lie flat with the bricks. And so then just some other snot techniques, and I'm only part way through the design, but I'm happy with how it looks, and I'll update you when I make some more changes. Welcome back, everybody. It's a couple of days later, and I've pretty much completely finished the design for the floor layout. As you can see, I've added this big slab of bricks and tiles here, and that's kind of finished off this quarter of the floor. I've made a little change here to the intersection. Just got rid of that 1x2 kind of slope and changed it for the curved tile, as well as adding a few wedge plates here. So I've gone for a mixture of sideways snot techniques, like you can see here, and some wedge techniques as well. There's a few gaps that I'm not too annoyed with. We've got the one here and the one here, and that's about, and then one little tiny one here. But overall I'm pretty happy with the amount of gaps in the mock, and yeah, so I've fully fleshed out these kind of half oval pieces, maybe ellipses is what you might call them. The other one here, you actually notice it's very hard to tell. This one here is an extra 2 studs wider than this one here. You can't fully notice it. You might be able to tell with it looking like that, but just because of how it worked, I couldn't perfectly make them even, but it's so hard to tell, and if I didn't say that, you probably wouldn't even notice. And so most of the stuff is pretty secure in here. It's not too loose. A little bit loose there, that's built in. That is not moving. The only things that are really loose are the sideways tiles here. So that's about all I've got time for this week. Comment what I should do next week, whether it's going to be finishing the entire floor design, or I might move on to the pillars which are going to go along here, because I finally laid out the entire size of the mock, which is 64 by 80, I believe. So yeah, comment if you want me to finish all the floor, or should I work on the barriers and the pillar technique.